My name is Patricia Chaves. I am from Espaço Feminista Brazil, and for me, it's a pleasure to be here, acting. It's a great honor to welcome all of you. I would like to say that it's a huge challenge to be doing such a huge assembly of members virtually. And I think that, as I say, my name is Patricia Chaves. I think that acting as the co-chair for the last 3 years was also a big challenge for myself. And I think that, being part of this huge network, this International Land Coalition, it was a pleasure. And I think that most important to say is that we take challenges all the time. It has been my life and my experience to be put in this kind of situation. Our resistance as a women, as feminists, as a Brazilian right now, it's an act of challenge, resistance, and we take this with pleasure, with happiness, and very serious business. So welcome to you all, and hope that you have a great and fantastic assembly of members.
Thanks, everyone. Warm welcome. It's already so great to see everyone introducing themselves in the chat at this Assembly of Members celebration. Let's see, Patricia, you called out. Now we're up to 174, and I hear a bell every time a new member or a new part of the community of the International Land Coalition joins. It's like the bells of little angels coming in this collective work that we're doing. My name is Lisa Witter. And I will be your moderator. I prefer DJ because I think we can work hard and change the world and have fun at the same time. And this isn't my first time collaborating with ILC. I have collaborated in different ways over the last about 7 years. And in my day job, I work a lot with public servants around the world to help deliver on democracy. I know democratic spaces are very important to what you do. So what I want you to do, just to get that sense of community, if you could go to gallery view for just a moment, what we're going to do is we're going to try to come off, turn on our cameras, and we're going to smile and wave at everyone. You can flip through the screens because we're real people caring about real work, and we're going to just give a wave. So if you can, turn your camera on for just a moment. There, I see Zuli waving. Jorge, hello. I see you all waving around the world. We're real people doing real things, Patricia, for the people and the planet. So thank you. Thank you for showing up. We do have, if it's not clear yet, interpretation. For those, we know we have French and Spanish interpretation. It will be very helpful if you can hear it in your language. Thanks to those of you who are speaking in another language, Patricia, and Portuguese, and others who are do such the hard work of speaking other second and third languages. So make sure you hit that button, the translation button, so we can fully include you. Now I want to get a sense of where we're at all around the world. So we've seen in the list people from Peru and India and all of Kenya and Rome, and I'm in Berlin and Brazil and all over the place, but we're going to visualize this on a map. So in the chat, if you could take a look, there's going to be a link. I want you to click on the link and then click on where you're at in the world. And then we'll come back and take a look at that. So the link should be coming into the chat any second now. One of my fantastic colleagues at ILC will do that. And as soon as you see that link, pop it in the chat and it will come up. I see James from Liberia and West Africa. Good afternoon to you. I also, while we're putting that link in the chat to get to the Mentimeter, I want to recognize, Patricia talked about doing hard things in these times, and I do want to recognize that we're still in COVID. People are still being infected. Many people don't, lots of people, I'd say the majority of people in the world don't have their vaccines. We know that you're here, you might be juggling children or multiple duties. And I just want you to all know that we're happy that you're here and come as your full self. And if you need to go on mute or you need to walk away to take care of your family or work or life, we understand that these are very trying times. So sending lots of love to everyone. Now, you can see there's in the link in the chat now, there's the Mentimeter link. So if you all could click on that, that would be great. Follow that link. Maybe click it one more time since it seemed to have filled up already. All the greetings from people around the world. Now South Africa is here and Palestine is here. And we'll go to that map in just a minute. Here it's popping up. You can see real time. We've got people all around the world. That's great. This global assembly, this celebration. I was so struck at the beginning video where we saw all the numbers of the impact, 1,019 joint actions, 72 policies, 151 best practice, 243 publications. So a lot of collective work over these last 3 years. Here they come, they keep coming in. This is great. Colombia, the Caribbean. It's a real global view. While we're not together in one place, we're all together here. From Tanzania, hello Irene, Bangladesh, hello. Okay, so we're here from around the world. Let's put up that slide to what today is going to look like. We are gonna walk you through, we have an amazing set of very diverse members and speakers from around the world. We have the presentation of the triennial report. Then we have some throughout this, we'll have some artistic, very powerful artistic sort of acts of politics, but also expression. We're going to have interviews with people from Africa and Peru. We'll go to Montenegro and the DRC, and we'll talk about some of the research that this collective community has done. Throughout, we really want to hear from members in the chat. We'll have a little time in the middle for to go a little bit deeper if people want on feedback or insights. And then from 4 to 4:30, we're going to leave it open for the ILC members to stay on with the co-chairs for any discussion or any other insights, because this meeting is for you and about the collective work that we are all doing. So I'm really happy now. I'm just the co-host and the moderator in the background, but you have two co-hosts here that are going to be taking you through interviewing all of these great speakers from around the world. So I'd like to introduce two people that you all know very well from ILC, Mike and Zuli. So Mike and Zuli, a few words.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And what a great pleasure to join all of you today. I'm Mike Taylor. I'm the director of the Secretariat. I'm all dressed up for you today with this celebration of what we've achieved over the last 3 years together. And I'll be interviewing members together with my colleague Zuli. Over to you, Zuli.
Hola Mike, hola Lisa, gracias. Yo soy Zuli Burneo, soy coordinadora regional de la ILC América Latina y el Caribe. Para mí es tremendo gusto unirme a la moderación de nuestra Asamblea Global y saludarles. Hoy vamos a conversar con miembros de la ILC y a escucharlos sobre lo que ellos consideran más valioso de su trabajo en los últimos 3 años. Empecemos con un vistazo al informe trienal que hoy presentamos.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So just a reminder to folks to stay on mute, use the chat. This is our meeting, this assembly, this celebration. And if you'd like, go on speaker view so you can hone in and see more of the people speaking and some of the information we'll be sharing. So I'm really excited to introduce, many of you I hope have seen the triennial report. It's gorgeous. You can see some of the graphics behind me. I think that the beauty of it represents the contents as well of the hard work. So Ashley Van Anrup, who's the Strategic and Corporate Communications Lead, is going to present this report. And please, along the way, put some chat, keep the comments coming about what you think about the report. So Ashley, over to you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley. I'm from the ILC Secretariat, and today I am thrilled to take you through our 2019 to 2021 triennial report. Let's get started. So here we are, People, Land, Planet, our triennial report. This report is different than any we've done in the past, as I hope you'll see and notice, and we are so proud of our collective achievements. It hasn't been an easy 3 years, and we are privileged to have members like yourselves as part of our network. This is the last report of our outgoing strategy, and so we wanted to make it an interactive and immersive experience for you, bringing the voices of the constituencies right to the forefront. So as you land on the page, scroll down to see the impact we've had over the last 3 years. So ILC in numbers, this is what we really want to see, right? You'll scroll down and wow, 72 policies have changed over the last 3 years and 115 practices. Like, that's not a small feat. We all know, we all work in land rights, and so we know progress can be slow. We all deal with some of those frustrations on a daily basis. But this is a moment, looking back today at the last 3 years, we see so much of your hard work coming to fruition. This is the amazing thing about the ILC network. Some of it takes years of dedication, like legislative change, while some of it requires responsive and rapid intervention on the ground, as we see with when we have to provide support to defenders under attack. So as you keep scrolling, you will meet our report guides. They're here to give a flavor of the depth and breadth of this coalition. So we've invited them to be your reading companions. They each represent a constituency that are at the ILC's core. So we have pastoralists, we have Nadine for youth, women, traditional leaders, global civil society, strategic partner, Indigenous peoples, farmers. I want to extend a really big thank you before we go ahead to Amina, Mary, Moni, Chief Tanya, Constance, Payne, Etienne, and Nadine for their unbelievable contribution and voice. They add their valuable comments throughout the report experience and really enrich in it. So let's start. We can choose our guide. We choose Amina. Hi, Amina. Let's select a theme. And your journey begins. You will be able to choose among 9 land dimensions. And for today's exercise, it's kind of like choose your own adventure, as you can see here. For today's exercise, let's choose human rights. You will be right away immersed in the ILC world. You get a graph that exactly shows you how many policies and practices have changed. And then it goes into a little more detail. So each section is a vibrant mix of infographics, as you can see. We have multimedia, stories, case studies, really showcasing the human aspect of our work while always trying to keep it grounded in the impact. So as you see here, Amina has something to say. So if you scroll and your guide has something to say, their comments will pop up. At any point in time, you can switch if you want to see a different perspective, and this little circle here. And you can switch guides and or jump to another land dimension. You will, of course, be able to download the report in PDF form in all 3 languages. And for the more serious stuff, check out our financial section. So we hope you enjoy going through it, possibly even recognizing some of your own work and finding inspiration and what we're meant to be doing here today, celebrate progress towards our collective goal. Thank you so much for your time and enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ashley. What a beautiful report and interactive. Congratulations to you. And most importantly, congratulations to all the people behind the work to make that happen. I want to welcome, there's lots of reports we're getting. Thanks for their excellent report, incredible creativity. Before, people were talking about the use of technology in this meeting, and congratulations. So amazing we're hearing about this. So the beauty of the report is made come to life through all of the accomplishments that have happened and more to come. So I want to shift a little bit in this celebratory moment. We have a few moments of art and culture as an important to sort of ground us in our humanness. And as you all know, impact and change comes from many ways. It can come from doing the political work and the organizing and the research, but it also comes from art. So I want to introduce you to Vumani. She's going to do a piece for us. You'll see it's recorded. Afra, one of ILC's members based in South Africa, runs a women's group that stands up for female farm tenants. We heard Patricia at the beginning talking about the power of feminism and never giving up. Vumani is a young woman and a poet, and she's part of this group, and she'll be sharing one of her pieces of prose today. It's a truth-telling piece. It's hard-hitting, and it talks about the realities that many people are feeling in their daily lives. So over to Vumani.
Hi everyone, I am Vumani Ngubane from South Africa, KZN in Pietermaritzburg. I am the member of Qina Mbokodo, the local structure working with women living and working on farms. Today I'm here to share a poem named Kazi Ungwakabani, meaning whom does the land belong to. Kazi Ungwakabani, oh hey, angiyazi le ndaba. Ingishiya ngibambe ongenzansi, ngididekile, ngidangele, ngidumele, lapho izwi lami balishaya indiva, lapho kunhlanga zimuka nomoya, ngempela, ngempela ungukabani. Uma ubungowethu sonke, pho kungani ngingenabunikazi? Pho kungani ngihlukumezeka ngenxa yokuphucwa wena mhlaba, ngempela ngempela ungukabani. Ohe, bengithi abamhlophe yibo amaqola, sengisho amaqili azikhotha emhlani, kanti angibuzanga elangeni, lapho ngisele ngibambe ongenzansi, lapho sesiqolwa nguhulumeni wendlu emnyama, ngempela ngempela ungukabani, kanti ngempela ungukabani, kazi ngempela ungukabani.
Thank you, Vumani, and your own words telling the truth about her situation. As we celebrate in that truth of the work we have ahead. But before we go to the work ahead, let's talk about the last 3 years. So I want to welcome back our co-hosts, Zuli and Mike, and they're going to give some of their highlights over the last 3 years. Could you put your highlights, what you think are the most important achievements in the chat? And so Mike and Zuli and I will be watching those and incorporating them as we talk throughout. So over to you, Mike and Zuli.
Gracias, Lisa, y gracias a todas las personas que se están animando a poner comentarios en el chat. Por favor, síganlo haciendo porque es genial tener su perspectiva del informe y de lo que consideran nuestros mayores logros. Vamos a esperar tener más comentarios. Bueno, tenemos comentarios sobre que ha sido espectacular, increíble la presentación que ha hecho la compañera Vumani. Nos comentan que ha sido muy bien explicado el informe, que ha estado muy bonito, que ha sido maravilloso. Hay comentarios muy bonitos, pero por favor sigan haciendo para tener este panorama general de su perspectiva sobre el informe. Mike, voy a pasar a ti. Te voy a preguntar cuál crees que es nuestro mayor logro en los últimos 3 años.
That's a tough question, Zuli, to pick up one highlight. Well, I invite all the participants to put in the chat what your highlights are, because I think there are so many. If I had to pick out one, I would repeat what's already been put out there. The fact that over the last 3 years, members have provoked the reform of 77 policies and 115 better practices related to those policy shifts. I think that's phenomenal. And of course, with a network like ours, that doesn't happen in isolation, because our members, the partnerships that our members lead, are there to keep on pushing to make sure that those policies turn into reality. So the impact really in the long term is going to be something incredible. So congratulations, ILC members, on your incredible work. For me, that would be the one that I would pick out. Zuli, what about you? If you had to pick one highlight, what would you choose?
Bueno, para mí también es muy difícil mencionar una sola cosa, ¿no? Pero hay 2 palabras detrás de nuestro trabajo que creo que podría destacar. Una es la diversidad. Me parece que ha sido enorme la diversidad de temas y espacios de relevancia global en donde nos hemos insertado e hemos incidido para destacar la importancia de los derechos sobre la tierra, que quizás de otro modo hubieran quedado fuera del debate. Por ejemplo, la discusión global sobre sistemas alimentarios o sobre los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible, o incluso la discusión sobre el lugar de la tierra en los derechos humanos. Más recientemente, además, también hemos alzado la voz sobre la centralidad de la tierra en las discusiones sobre cambio climático y crisis ecológica global. Ahora, para abarcar toda esta complejidad que envuelve a los derechos de la tierra, esto ha sido posible gracias a nuestra propia diversidad. Al interno de la ILC tenemos a miembros con experiencias y saberes muy diversos y con la solidez para aportar en todos estos temas. Y acá entra la segunda palabra que quería destacar, Mike, que es unidad. En estos 3 años hemos logrado confluir y complementarnos muy bien entre miembros y aliados. Es muy potente, muy bonito, cuando desde Nepal hasta Argentina compartimos una sola metodología para reportar e incidir sobre los ODS, o cuando nos unimos en una sola campaña mundial, como es Land Rights Now, que alcanza a millones de personas. Pero además hemos hecho todo esto en medio de una pandemia global, y creo que hemos logrado mantener, a pesar de eso, los valiosísimos espacios de encuentro e interaprendizaje para enriquecernos de esa diversidad. Eso diría Mike solo como una pincelada rápida.
Thanks, Zuli. We're gonna now start diving into some of the incredible work that members have done, and I would just like, before we do that, go back to what Lisa said earlier on, that we've had an incredibly difficult nearly 2 years as a globe, haven't we? And ILC members have been no exception to that. We've lost people that are dear to us. We've suffered through difficult circumstances. But also what is really incredible is how ILC members have stepped in difficult situations on the ground to bring relief to communities, to assist, to be the sort of foot soldiers on the ground in meeting the emergencies related to the pandemic. So again, congratulations to ILC members in a very difficult period. I want to take us now to Kenya. And it's in the context of both celebrating our achievements, but also recognizing that tragically, many of our achievements can come at great human cost. ILC members share a common commitment to stand together to defend those among our membership who risk their lives by defending their land, forests, and water, and other natural resources. In my view, these are the true heroines and heroes that defend our planet. One of the ways in which ILC delivers on this commitment is in each region, we support a protection fund for land defenders. So we're going to Kenya to meet one of our members, Natural Justice, which runs the Africa Land Defenders Fund. We're very honored to have with us Eva Okoth, who is the manager of the fund and works with the Natural Justice. Eva, welcome. It's lovely to have you with us. And thank you for joining us. Could you explain to our members, please, Eva, what, from your experience in managing the fund, what is the biggest obstacle that defenders in Africa face today?
Thank you so much, Michael, and many greetings to all of you who are joining. It's a pleasure to be speaking to you today. And like you said, Michael, I think the greatest heroes are those people who've been willing to pay the ultimate price for a more just society that takes into account the voices of people. And this is why we are here to celebrate them today and assure them of the good work they are doing. So just to respond to your question, is what we've seen as the greatest challenge, like you mentioned, is the numerous attacks that defenders face and the threats that they are exposed to because of the increasingly shrinking civic space. Like we've seen from the statistics recently, Global Witness reported a number of killings, like 4 killings per week of defenders. And I think for the African continent, these cases are underreported and they are likely to be more beyond just killings. I think in addition to that is just in terms of the failure to meaningfully engage defenders, and this lack of meaningful engagement and respect for their free, prior, and informed consent is one of the reasons why defenders are greatly exposed. So I believe that for African environmental defenders, most of the time they are exposed to all these threats and challenges because of lack of meaningful engagement and respect for their free, prior, and informed consent.
Wow, yeah, that's a tough situation that you're describing, Eva. Could you give us a bit of a picture of whether that has changed at all during COVID? Have the COVID and COVID lockdowns had any effect on the situation that defenders face in Africa?
Yeah, so with the COVID-19 really presented a very great challenging context for defenders in the continent. And one of the things we saw in this period is increasing threats and more shrinking of civic spaces. We've seen instances where people have been evicted from their homes, people have been evicted, and indigenous peoples have been evicted from their lands because of the weakening of the systems and the rule of law. So governments, businesses have taken advantage of the restriction orders and measures. And this is the time where people have been greatly oppressed because of the situation, and it's increased their vulnerability further. And so what we've seen is that situation where defenders have needed more of our support and solidarity during this period.
Wow, that's I think we need to have a bit of hope as well. Could we, before I hand back to Lisa, could you just give us an idea of some of the successes that the fund has had, and congratulations for the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Michael. Yeah, so since this fund started, I think one of the things is that it has been a bit dormant, but with the launching of this fund, we've seen a number of cases being supported and more defenders being assisted to come out of emergency situations. And as of August this year, a total of 20 cases have been supported, and we've seen communities testify as to how this has impacted them and has assured them and enabled them to continue with their work because of how much it's assisted them. Secondly, that one thing I'd like to highlight is how we've been able to expand this fund so that it's available to more defenders in the African region. I think one of our targets was to really make sure that this fund is accessible, especially to grassroots defenders whose stories are often untold and who are often not able to access any assistance or support. So I think in that respect, we've been able to reach out to a very wider scope of defenders working in different capacities to defend their environmental and land rights across the region.
Thank you so much, Eva. And the whole ILC network stands in solidarity with you and with the defenders that you work so hard to protect. Thank you. Lisa, back to you.
It's so hard to do all of that work in about 4 minutes of sharing. There's so much more behind it. And we're, like Mike said, everyone is behind you. And thanks to the both of you for ending that short little piece on solutions in these very difficult times. I see Anu was talking about the same challenging times, but also the heroes and heroines in India working through this. So keep that interaction coming, and thank you. Now I'm gonna bridge us from Kenya, if you can like mentally fly with me over to Peru, where we're going to meet Mirabel. You'll see her in my background soon. An inspiring indigenous woman from Santa Rosa de Juanacopia in Peru. Until not too long ago, less than 4% of rural communities in Peru had female leaders. And this is a big push that all of us are doing, is to have more equity and diverse leadership everywhere. Why? Well, widespread machismo at the community level made it impossible for women to participate in meetings, let alone hold leadership roles. But let's see what she does about this and how her story unfolds. Over to Mirabel.
ñuqam kani indígena warmi, kaypim nasirani, llaqtamanta kani Huancapugyo indígena llaqtamanta. Pukchalla maway. Escaychaykum kaniko kaypi, kuska maymanpas riniko, ñuqapa laduypi. Ñuqapa sutimi Maribel Barrientos Najarro. Asambleaman rita hallaykuni, llullu awachayoq, imapas ayudayta, pero mana autoridad karanikuchu. Ñuqa kani tesorera, pero llapanmantachu servikuni, ayudanakunata. Puntataqa mana munarakuchu. Warmi imatataqa ruwaronqa, yanqanchu warmiwanqa, nisqani. Qharipas sutillanpi imapas, wasipas, chakrapas, hasta autoridadpas, mana warmipas sutinpiqa imapas karachu. Gracias, ser amuygun hinaspan motivaykuwanku, yachaykachiwanku. Nisqanmanta niykuwanku warmipas qharipas igualmi kayta debin nispan. Chaymanta cambianiku estatuto interno. Chaymi ñuqayku chaymanta primero autoridad warmikuna kaniku. Manchakunkin primero ta. Siempre hay machismo. Hinaptin ñuqayku demostrayta debiniku warmipas valenchikmi, ¿no? Kunanja mastam puñunakuniku, warmi masta rimaniku expleganiku masta nisqanku. Qarikuna mas confianzata sentikunku ñuqayku motivate kayta ruwasqa wayta ruwasqa o puntata ruwayta qallaykuniku riki, ¿no? Imapas ruwasqaykuta qhawachkan hinaspan kusikuchkankuña, ayudawachkankuña o pacha lavaypipas, wasi limpiaypipas ayudawachkankuña, cambiachkanku, ayudanakuchkaniku qhari warmi allinmi kachkaniku. Warmikuna ñuqayku dispuesta kachkaniku, manaña qhipa qawarinapaq. Siempre puntaman qhawaspa imapas llaqtaykupaq, imatapas ruwayta. Kunanqa imapipas qhariwan igual o más todavía llaqtayku mejoranayku. Ñuqa warmachayta siempre nani yachachini, hinatin pay pukllaspanqa comuneras, comuneros nispan puklla. Siempre ñuqa warmikuna participananta munani, mana manchakuspan, imapas mañakunankupak o imatapas cambianapaq, autoridadta siempre hapiyta debinku, mana manchakuspan, mayman yaykuytapas, oficinakunaman yaykuyta, imapas reclamayta, mayoría warmikuna chayna kananta ñuqa munani.
Thank you, Mirabel. You can see her over my shoulder over here. I love this line. Things have changed. We all help each other. So change happened, right? Real change happened through leadership. Powerful video. Now I want to welcome back Zuli. Zuli, over to you.
Gracias, Lisa. Excelente video y de verdad hermosísima historia. Ojalá tengamos a muchas mujeres como Maribel en las dirigencias de las comunidades del Perú. Bueno, seguramente querrán conocer mejor lo que hay detrás de esta historia, y para eso tenemos con nosotros y nosotras a Raquel Reynoso. Raquel, desde la Asociación SER, actualmente es el punto focal de la ENI Perú, impulsó el trabajo sobre los derechos y el empoderamiento de las mujeres campesinas e indígenas del Perú. Querida Raquel, qué gusto tenerte acá con nosotros y nosotras, bienvenida, muchas gracias por acompañarnos. Cuéntanos, por favor, Raquel, ¿cómo fue el proceso que siguieron en la ENI Perú hasta llegar a lo que Maribel nos cuenta en el video?
Sí, muchas gracias, Zuli. ¿Qué tal con todos y todas? Realmente ha sido un proceso largo, ¿no? Y creo que lo valioso ha sido la persistencia, digamos, en querer conseguir las cosas, ¿no? Que es un proceso que inició realmente como en el 2014, haciendo primero estudios, análisis de investigación, visibilizando la problemática que pasaban las mujeres, contando sus testimonios, ¿no? También pasamos por un proceso de capacitación también a las mujeres para que pudieran conocer cuáles eran sus derechos como mujeres y principalmente también los derechos colectivos, hablando también sobre el desarrollo de la comunidad, que no podía ser posible que se hicieran planes de desarrollo sin la participación de las mujeres, sin contar con la voz de la mujer, ¿no? Un proceso también que implicó jornadas de sensibilización a los varones, porque Maribel hace referencia justamente que había mucho machismo. Entonces teníamos que tener reuniones de asambleas con la mayoría varones, pero también haciéndoles entender que las mujeres son parte de la comunidad y por lo tanto tienen que contribuir también, tienen muchas capacidades, fortalezas, ideas, y ellas tienen que ser tomadas en cuenta. Entonces, ha sido esas jornadas de capacitación. También se ha hecho cambiar las normas internas de la comunidad, como es el cambio de los estatutos comunales, ¿no? Para que las mujeres sean consideradas comuneras calificadas y por lo tanto puedan ser elegidas. Pero este trabajo de hormiga, digamos, de cambio de estatutos de comunidad por comunidad, veíamos que nos íbamos a demorar mucho. Entonces, empezamos en alianzas también con la Organización Nacional de Mujeres Indígenas y Andinas de Perú, que es ONAMIA, que también es miembro del LC, que empezamos juntas este trabajo de incidencia, digamos, para cambiar esa norma general, esa norma mayor, digamos, que permitiera a las mujeres ser comuneras calificadas y que además las incorporaran como miembros de la junta directiva, ¿no? Muchas resistencias en el Congreso porque, claro, no todos están a favor, digamos, de una participación abierta y amplia de las mujeres, ¿no? Sin embargo, con la alianza que se tuvo con la congresista Tania Pariona, déjeme decir que una congresista también indígena, que nos ayudó muchísimo y que asumió la propuesta y lo formó como planteamiento de ley. Hicimos todo un trabajo de incidencia a través de foros, con apoyo de la Defensoría, pidió consulta a otras agencias estatales, también a otras organizaciones de indígenas, campesinas, porque todos hay unos requisitos que hay que cumplir, digamos, y después de mucha resistencia en las comisiones de trabajo en el Congreso, había que sustentar, alcanzar la información, hubo mucha resistencia, pero finalmente se aprobó que el 30% de las juntas directivas en las comunidades sea conformada por mujeres, ¿no? Entonces eso ha sido una tarea muy larga que ha permitido pues que las mujeres tengan esa herramienta.
Excelente, Raquel. Muchas gracias por contarnos esto. Dime, ¿y cuál es la principal lección que han aprendido como plataforma en la ENI de este caso, de esta lucha?
Sí, mira, yo creo que la primera es que la persistencia trae sus logros, sus frutos, ¿no? Nos hemos dejado vencer, digamos, por los primeros obstáculos o resistencias, porque déjame decirte que también las resistencias no solamente a nivel interno en las comunidades por el machismo que menciona Maribel, sino también las propias autoridades, los funcionarios públicos, cuando ya hemos logrado modificar los estatutos y querer ir a registrarlos, decían, no, esta junta directiva no puede ser porque aquí hay mujeres. Eso debe ser solo de varones. Entonces, cambiar ese chip también en los funcionarios ha sido muy difícil. Entonces, otra de las lecciones es que hemos ido aprendiendo a conseguir y a ganar aliados a nuestra causa para que puedan permitir, digamos, que se respeten, digamos, las normas. Pero la lección más importante yo creo que es justamente empoderar a las mujeres para que ellas mismas exijan y defiendan sus derechos, ¿no? Yo creo que uno de los mayores impactos también que hemos tenido es que ahora las mujeres tienen una herramienta jurídica que les permite defender su participación en instancias de toma de decisiones de las tierras y territorios. Las mujeres están muy empoderadas y pueden verificar también la eficacia de esta norma cuando en algunas comunidades algunos varones todavía se resisten y ellas les dicen, vayan nomás a registrar, verán que no les van a dejar. Y los varones incrédulos van. Y claro, se enfrentan a una norma y a unos funcionarios que ya están sensibilizados, le dicen, señores, ustedes no pueden registrar esa junta directiva sin la participación de mujeres. Entonces regresan a su comunidad y las mujeres felices les dicen, les dijimos, nosotras también existimos. Y creo que esos son como los mayores logros y triunfos que ellas pueden decir, que ahora también están registradas en los padrones, porque en las comunidades andinas, como el jefe de familia es el varón, solo el varón aparecía en el padrón de comuneros campesinos, ¿no? Ahora no, ahora están los dos registrados con este cambio de estatutos, ¿no? Eso les da otro espíritu, otro impulso también a las mujeres que también nos cuentan, como nos cuenta Maribel, que les permite pues ahora trascender de ese temor y seguir exigiendo y avanzando a la conquista de más derechos, ¿no?
Eso, muchas gracias Raquel. Es un caso muy, muy inspirador y con un potencial enorme para continuar promoviendo la participación de las mujeres indígenas y campesinas en territorios colectivos. Muchísimas gracias Raquel por esta contribución. Lisa, te dejo a ti.
Zuli and Raquel, thank you. So inspiring to remember Mirabel talking about her daughter mimicking her, right? And so we have boys now who are seeing this, and generations hopefully will change through the great work that happened. People could reach down to your reaction bar and give Raquel and Mirabel a star or a heart or a smiley face or something just for that extraordinary work, and more to come. So I'm going to take you again. We're going to travel around the world from Peru to Nepal, where we're going to meet Chandra, a former bonded laborer, also known as a halia. There's an estimated 19,000 former halias in Nepal. And thanks to the Nest Nepal partnership with the government, they were able to identify former halias to provide them identity cards and grants for housing and land. Let's hear this inspiring story from Chandra.
मेरो नाम चन्द्रराम लोहार मेरो अहिले जन्म त 2025 सालको हो तीनवटा छोरा छन् एउटा छोरी छ हम 6 जनाको परिवार छौं हालिया त बाजे बुवा बाजेको दिनदेखि भनौँ 14 वर्ष 14-15 वर्ष करिब गरे मैले म बोल्दै बसेथे त्यो समय खान लाउनु पनि थिएन जमिन जग्गा केही थिएन अब त्यो खेती किसानको बेला त अब हलिया गर्नु पर्यो दिनभरि काम हुन्थ्यो अब दिमागमा कस्तो थियो भने अब बालबच्चाहरूलाई पाल्नु बन्द गर्नु पर्यो जसरी भए पनि आफ्नो बच्चाहरूलाई हुर्काउनु पर्यो पढाउनु पर्यो खान लाउनु पनि त चाहियो अब त्यो समयमा त्यस्तै सोच थियो हरेको लागि पनि आया थियो घर बनाउने बेला मलाई पनि 1,25,000 दिनुभएको थियो त्यसले पनि मैले काम गरेँ त्यो भएर ठिकै छ अब छोरी पनि अलि हुर्काइसके जागिरलाई घर बनाउने अरू यो ढलान गर्ने अरू काठको काम पनि गर्छु आयरन पनि छ मैले खेतीपानी पनि गर्छु आफ्नो जमिन छ पहिले आफ्नो जीवनमा हलिया बस्दा हलिया मुक्ति भएपछि अब आफ्नो समस्यामा अरू कुनै मिटिङमा जाँदाखेरि पनि अब नलेज भयो भनौँ अहिले उनीहरूलाई पनि अब सहयोग केही मिले ठिक हुन्थ्यो उनीहरूलाई पनि अब उनीहरूलाई खान लाउनु पनि उनीहरूलाई पनि त्यस्तै छ अब सबै कसैले दिनभरि देला मजदुरी गरेर जालु खान्छन् लिएर खाने हुन् अहिले हलिया मुक्तिबाट अब मुक्त त भइसक्यो भनौँ तिनीहरूलाई पनि केही सङ्घ संस्थाबाट या हलिया मुक्तिबाट कुनै संस्थाबाट पनि अब माथि उठ्नु पाए ठिक हुन्थ्यो भन्ने विचार अब त बुढो भएको भइसके
Another story of impact, and you'll note that Chandra's wish was that all of the Ilia have the same opportunities that he does. So celebrating impact and pushing for more. So very inspiring video from Chandra. Mike, over to you.
Thank you, Lisa. And I'm really struck by how both the Peru and the Nepal stories we've just heard show a very fundamental truth about land rights, that land can be at the center of breaking intergenerational cycles of poverty. And it can make a difference, not just for one generation, but for every generation that follows that. So congratulations to our members in Nepal, and also to you, Dam. I'm going to ask you a question in a minute, but I just wanted to congratulate you also for the award you received last week from ILC Asia, recognizing your outstanding work as a Nest facilitator. Well done. Dan, it's great to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'd like you to take a few minutes, please, to explain to us all why it took so long. So we saw in that video that the law was amended in 2008 to outlaw the Halia system, but it took more than 10 years, it seems, until that actually was put into practice. And the reason I'm asking you that question is it's such a common challenge with land rights, isn't it? That you get legal change, you get policy change, but it really takes a long time to put that into practice. And so many of our members will be familiar with this challenge. So take us through how the NEST partnership engaged over this time and actually brought about the change in reality that the law had envisaged so long before. Over to you, Dam.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning, good afternoon, and a good evening to all the friends from around the world here. Thanks again for providing this opportunity to share our work. So, yes, Mike, the emancipatory process was started in 2008, right after the country embarked into Federal Republic governance system. And it took so much time, almost a decade. Even still, all the Halias have not been able to get their land and housing rights well. And the CSOs working towards the rights of Halias are claiming, have been claiming that more than 50% of Halias are still unrecognized. This is because the government initiated the identification process, but that surfaced many different kinds of controversial issues while identifying things, because you know that when the Halia system, let me briefly explain the Halia system. Halias are those who work as a bonded labor, as a slave in modern term, with the landed families, with a nominal loan, so that they can not have time to earn, to repay that amount. And it moves to the generation to generation to repay that one. So in this context, at that time when the government was initiating the identification process, the landlords who have been keeping those Halias misinformed. Many types of wrong data were provided. So the government could not come up with the actual numbers. And given these things, given the context where our members, NLRF and the CSRC, have been already working with those communities since 2004, and they were well informed about the ground reality. And after the emancipation declaration by the government, it became easy to partner with the local governments and other government bodies for CSOs, including NEST members. No, so the consultations and collaborations with the ground communities and other CSOs surfaced the hidden realities, that there are other severe cases that have been still behind the scene. So because of these so many difficult processes and debates and other things, like government initiated categorizing Halias into different 4 categories. It was not systematically done, and there are a lot of debate from the members, from the families of the Halias, that they were not rightly being recognized. So they are obviously being left out from the grant process. And to mainstream those things, to identify the ground reality, it took a lot of time. And when it was in 2019, when some of the fellow Halia peoples were getting grants and others were not, and the complaints from those who were real Haliyas becoming more visible. So, and in that context, NES, together with CSRC and NLRF, we facilitate the dialogue process with Halia communities, local governments, district level authorities, and even local level politicians, other political parties, and those especially those dialogue where the dialogue become able to bring about a kind of consensus among the concerned parties, and we become able to identify 355 Halia peoples, those who were waiting for the grant but not well recognized. And we facilitate that, and families like Sandra become able to finally become able to have assistance. But the case is that Halia people, the fund and the support was limited, but the process of bringing their voice, their real problem to the surface, to the notice of the government was one of the important work that we did, and we become able to bring about that sense.
Congratulations for your perseverance there, Dam. I think a few of the really key things that you mentioned that will resonate with ILC members all around the world was you talked about building trust with local government, you talked about building trust with the communities themselves and bringing them together and creating agreement on the way forward to go. I think that's absolutely essential. You also talked about making the issue visible, getting the data and the information to show actually what was the reality for such communities. So well done to you, and I'm sure your work is not finished. We wish you strength and courage as you continue. Yeah, and
thank you, Mike. And
yeah,
we look forward to the continuous support from the our network like ILC and other partners.
We're very proud of you. Thank you very much, Dam. Lisa, back to you.
Thank you, Mike. And maybe just for a moment, you can see why Dharm, and I'm sure many other people around him, but why Dharm won that award. And maybe we can fill the chat with like a wall of wishes. As Mike said, he's going to need power to keep going until those 355 or beyond people have the assistance they need. So many stories of impact and success today, and what now is a moment where when I just stop and reflect. This is a meeting for the members and the larger stakeholders in the ILC, and give you a chance in the chat if there's any questions you have or any comments that you want to make. If anyone feels a burning need to say something with their voice, we want to open that. We have a few minutes to do that, but if not, it's not that you can wait and also do it at the very end. We're going to have a whole half hour for members to exchange and ask questions. So I'll take a look in the chat here to see if there's any burning questions. And if not, we're going to keep going with these cultural moments and these moments of celebration coming off of these stories that we've heard. And remember to stretch and take care of yourself as you're in front of your screen. And to do this work, we have to take care of ourselves and protect ourselves as the asset in the work. So I'm really proud to introduce Joshua Sitoromong. Did I get his name right? I hope so. He was one of the nine chosen leaders, young leaders from ILC Network to march for a better future with the ILC in Jai Jagat in 2020 in this fellowship program together with Ekta Parishad. So he was on the road marching. On his journey, not only did he learn the principles of the nonviolent movements, but a little something else. So coming to us from a storm in Indonesia, Joshua.
Hi everyone, I am Joshua Situmorang. I'm from Indonesia, and it's such a pleasure and an honor for me to be among you to sing Jai Jagat song, which means victory to the world. This inspirational song has inspired us who are marching to get the victory to the world. Thank you very much. Jai Jagat Kukaraja Sir Aman Devaraja Jai Jagat Kukaraja Sir Aman Devaraja Sabke hite ke fasate Sabke hite ke fasate Apna sukh visarja Jai Jagat Kukaraja Sir Aman Devaraja Jai Jagat Kukaraja Sir Aman Devaraja Vempehi Kukaraho Sabat Sabu Yaru Vempehi Kukaraho Sabat Sabu Yaru Jeta ho Jahanaki Jeta ho Jahanaki Yotisi Vikarho Jai Jagat Kukaraja Sir Aman Devaraja Jai Jagat Kukaraja Sir Aman Devaraja
Fantastic. Thanks, Joshua, and for all those comments in the chat. We'll make sure that he gets to hear them with people feeling so positive and his words. So we're going to take you on another trip on the airplane. We're going to Montenegro, and over to you, Zuli.
Gracias, Luisa. Qué linda canción, realmente felicitaciones a Joshua. Vamos ahora a Montenegro. Les voy a contar un poco primero sobre la campaña Land Rights Now. La campaña Derechos a la Tierra Ahora moviliza e involucra a la ciudadanía activa, a comunidades y a organizaciones alrededor del mundo para promover y asegurar los derechos a la tierra para pueblos indígenas y comunidades locales. En el año 2020, la campaña apoyó a la asociación Save Jinjayevina, que lucha contra la instalación de un campo de entrenamiento militar en sus pastizales, en la cordillera Sinjayevina-Durmitor, que es casa de 22.000 personas, parte de un parque natural limítrofe de zonas declaradas Patrimonio de la Humanidad por la UNESCO. Para conocer un poco más sobre este caso, vamos a tener con nosotros a Milan Sekulovic. Milan es periodista y presidente de Save Jinjayevina. Bienvenido, Milan. Es un gran honor conocerte. Y yo quisiera, por favor, empezar preguntándote ¿qué representa Sinjayevina para las comunidades locales? Milan, por favor.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be here and speak about my mountain, Sinjayevina. I'm the child of the mountain, and I'm born and raised in Sinjayevina, and I can tell you the Sinjayevina is the source of the life for us. We live there for the millennia, and we live in the symbiosis with nature because that ecosystem depends on activity of local farmers. We have sheep, we have cows, and we live on that pasture for the centuries. And we use that on the sustainable way, and we care about nature, and nature care about us because we depend on that relationship. If we now we have a problem because somebody trying to take from us our land, our nature, our mountain, and if that's going to happen, we lose our source of life, and in that case we lose our way of life, and we must go somewhere else, but I don't know where, because we don't have an alternative. We have just one land, just one part of this land, and Sinjavina is our part, and we want to keep that part of land for us.
Gracias, Milan. Está muy clara la importancia y el valor de los pastizales para las comunidades locales. Quisiera preguntarte, ¿cómo movilizaron a las comunidades para que se opongan conjuntamente a este lugar de entrenamiento militar?
First, I must say the government of Montenegro made a decision to establish military training ground in Sinjavina without any consultation with local community. So that was very surprising, and that was one break of every law in Montenegro, and also a break of many international conventions. And we find out about military training ground from the newspapers. Nobody tells anything to the people about plans of government. And what is the biggest problem is we have a small army. We are a very small country, and that training ground is not for our army. That is for NATO allies, and that makes a problem even bigger, because we have a very powerful enemies, I must say that, and because somebody trying to take the land from us. So the local community was very spontaneous, but very emotional, and very well, I must say, very well organized, because we last year we have an announcement of one military exercise, and we stopped that because we go on the mountain and spend 51 days on the snow, on the rain, on the sun, and every condition, and with our bodies we defend our land and our pastures. So first battle we win, so 0-0 for them, 1 for us, but we must keep fighting for this, because they still want that land for a military training ground.
Muchísimas gracias, Milan. De verdad es impresionante la historia que nos cuentas. Felicitaciones por la fuerza para sostener este caso de resistencia durante ya tan largo tiempo. Todo nuestro apoyo y solidaridad con esta lucha. Ahora voy a pasarle la palabra a Mike. Gracias. Voy a pasarle la palabra a Mike, que nos va a llevar a otra historia, esta vez hacia el continente africano. Adelante, Mike, por favor.
Thank you, Zuli, and thank you so much, Milan, for sharing your incredible dedication and work with us. We're going to move from Montenegro to the forests of Central Africa. I was in Glasgow at the COP last week, and the Central African forests were a big topic of discussion, as were forests around the world. Now, obviously, these lands are not sitting there empty. They're lands that customarily belong to local people who live there. So we're going to start in Cameroon, and then after we're going to go to DRC. But we'd like to start with showing you a quick video about Ness, Cameroon.
Je m'appelle Madame Veuve Belle Justine. Je suis mariée dans ce village depuis 1972. Et après la mort de mon mari, j'ai commencé à avoir les difficultés, surtout le problème de terrain. Mais quand même, on se débrouille. Ici, dans notre pays, dès que le mari part, toi, tu n'es plus un être vivant. Tu n'as plus droit à quelque chose. Donc, c'est ce qui nous fait souffrir ici. Parce que vous travaillez, avec votre mari, mais dès qu'il disparaît, ça devient autre chose. Donc, les veuves souffrent beaucoup, les veuves du Cameroun.
Je suis Iris Flore Gronkin. J'ai choisi la communauté Logdikit pour la diffusion du code de conduite pour les cas spécifiques d'inégalité d'accès à la terre qui sont très palpables, très flagrants ici dans cette communauté concernant les veuves qui ont des cas spécifiques pour l'accès à la terre et puis les filles célibataires qui ne sont pas parties en mariage. Les femmes et les jeunes constituent, n'est-ce pas, les parties, les couches de la communauté. Elles ne peuvent pas être exclues dans la communauté lorsqu'on parle de la gestion de la terre. Les femmes, elles jouent un grand rôle dans la subsistance alimentaire, dans l'apport de revenus, dans l'encadrement de la famille. Donc les femmes devraient avoir, n'est-ce pas, accès à la terre pour encadrer davantage ces familles qui sont le noyau de la communauté.
Nous savons qu'il y a 4 éléments que nous font vivre. Il y a l'air, la terre, l'eau et le feu. La terre est primordiale pour nous. Le Mbombo que je suis doit préserver l'environnement, qu'on arrête la déforestation, qu'on fasse une redistribution normale, équitable des terres. Dans notre tradition, la femme est au centre de tout. En principe, la femme est même la vraie Mbombo.
A fantastic story from Cameroon, and you can see the thread going from Peru to Cameroon. And we're going to take a different thread through to DRC, the thread of customary land rights. In Cameroon and in DRC, Batwa or Pygmy peoples have a long history of marginalization and dispossession from their lands and their forests. However, in April 2021, the Parliament of DRC passed a very historic law on the protection of indigenous Pygmy peoples. This is historic in a country where indigenous peoples have not been considered equal to the rest of the population. These achievements are the result of the long and dedicated work of indigenous leaders, activists, and social movements. And we're very honored and privileged to have one of them with us today, DL Muchire from ILC member PIDP. DL, you're very welcome. It's very much a great pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. I want to ask you a similar question as we had in Nepal. This has been a problem for generations and generations, and it's something that you and other activists have been working on for a long time. Why did it take so long for a law like the law that successfully went through this year to be passed?
Ok, merci beaucoup de m'avoir accordé la parole. Je suis M. Dil Mochire Mwenge. Je suis le directeur provincial du PIDEP Kalabambouti, une organisation membre de IRC. Et par rapport à la question des pygmées en RDC, nous sommes dans un plaidoyer qui évolue bien, qui est évolutif. Et nous nous sommes rendus compte que les notaires étaient spoliés, nous étions victimes des expulsions, des accaparements des terres, et tout d'un coup, nous avions pris conscience de cette situation. Cela nous a poussé à demander au gouvernement congolais de reconnaître nos droits à travers une loi qui a connu des difficultés pendant plus de 10 ans. Mais finalement, en 2020, la loi a été adoptée au Parlement. C'est la Chambre basse et aujourd'hui en cours de traitement au Sénat. Voilà comment nous sommes organisés, en renforçant nos synergies, renforcer nos capacités, la prise de conscience des leaders autochtones pour arriver à ces changements-là. Cette prise de conscience nous a facilité à accroître l'intérêt du gouvernement, à comprendre que la valeur ajoutée et la manière dont les terres des peuples autochtones sont protégées contribuent énormément au changement climatique parce qu'il y a les forêts qui sont de la biodiversité intacte et il y a moins de menaces qui y vivent et il fallait que la RDC soit reconnaissante à cela. Et ce qui a fait c'est qu'aujourd'hui, le gouvernement se déclare un pays solution lors de la COP 26.
Thank you.
À votre écoute, s'il y a d'autres questions, je pourrai répondre.
Thank you, DL. And I think that's a key point. A lot of attention in the world will be given to the forests of Congo, and so we hope that this law is in time, that the solutions that are sought will be solutions that recognize rather than dispossess indigenous peoples. Can you just in a minute pull out 2 or 3 success factors from your struggle that you would share with indigenous peoples elsewhere, because the situation you faced is repeated all over the world. What would you share with other activists around the world as success factors that they could learn from?
En termes de succès, il y a lieu de noter que grâce à cette reconnaissance, la politique foncière qui est en cours d'adoption, de validation à ces jours à Kinshasa, ça fait une grande inspiration parce que la loi tient compte de tout ce qui est mode de vie culturel, social et économique des peuples autochtones et qui fait comme référence dans la loi, dans la politique foncière aujourd'hui. Et notre succès est que la prise de conscience nous a permis de mettre en place une synergie à travers les REPALEF pour essayer de se coordonner
il semble que nous avons un problème avec la traduction.
De se renforcer les capacités sur plusieurs thématiques, notamment les plaidoyers, les lobbying et autres aspects, tant au niveau sous-régional, et aussi international, mais aussi au niveau national. À cela, nous avions suivi plusieurs processus, notamment au niveau de l'ONU. Il y a le mécanisme d'examen périodique universel qui a fourni assez de recommandations pour la République démocratique du Congo et de manière spécifique aux peuples autochtones, mais aussi les comités sur l'élimination de toutes les discriminations à l'égard de la femme, qui a fait des observations et des recommandations à l'égard de l'État congolais pour protéger et sécuriser les droits fonciers des femmes autochtones en République démocratique du Congo. Voilà pas mal de succès que nous pouvons s'imaginer, mais c'est le résultat vraiment de la lutte, de l'engagement, de l'appui des partenaires, des soutiens, des orientations reçues de pas mal de partenaires tels que la ILC, il y a IPRI, il y a la RFN et d'autres partenaires qui soutiennent les peuples autochtones en République démocratique du Congo.
Thank you, DL, for sharing that. We're very proud to have been part of this journey together with you, and thank you for pulling out the particular importance of working not just with Indigenous peoples, but Indigenous women especially. So DL, it's been a pleasure to have you explain a bit of your story, and I hand back to Lisa.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, DL, for your really courageous, amazing work. And I noticed that people were asking about the translators. It's all up and going, but I want to thank the translators for their work. It's so important that we hear people in their own voice and their own language. So thanks to those behind the scenes who are making this exchange happen. Really appreciate all the tech people and the translators. So we've heard so much about the work that's going on the ground, advocacy, collaboration, trust building, fighting, all the things that happen. But I want to switch us a little bit to the research that creates some of the evidence and some of the data and is part of the advocacy efforts that goes on. And as you all know, in most countries, the land inequality is growing. Worse, new measures and analysis in one of these such reports published in the Uneven Ground report, one I had an honor of helping the launch event, showed that land inequality is significantly higher than previously reported. The report pointed to the unseen drivers of land inequality. And yet, as Mike and Zuli keep coming back to with all of these incredible people, what the potential solutions were, right? Identify the problem and then work towards the solutions. There was massive amounts of media coverage. It was really inspiring, lots of pickup as this important data comes forward on this growing land inequality. So with that, I want to introduce Pudini Wickramarante. I hope I did that right, Pudini, from Oxfam. And I have a few questions for you. She's the land rights policy lead at Oxfam. If we could ask everyone to mute, fantastic. I know we're all dealing with multiple things, great. I have a few questions for you about this work, Pudini, and thanks so much for joining us. Warm welcome. Great.
Thank you, Lisa.
So the report itself, and we have a link right there. Thanks for popping that into the link, the Uneven Ground. What was the most interesting aspect of the report that came out for you?
Yeah, there are a couple of interesting and important aspects that have come out of the report. One is that it sheds light on the scale of the problem of land inequality, and also the fact that land inequality is growing. Inequality in the ownership and control of lands is worse than what we previously thought it was. And it is also increasing very rapidly. And we have alarming figures like 70% of the farms being controlled by largest 1% of the farms, and the poorest 50% of the rural population controlling only 3% of all agricultural land. So which points us to the fact that many smallholder farmers and communities are driven out of their lands or are restricted to smaller pieces of land. And farms are increasingly owned and controlled by a fewer wealthy people, a few corporates, and few financial actors. And this brings us to the hidden forces behind the problem. How agricultural, the agri-food sector, with the large-scale investment on agribusiness that focuses on the industrial modes of production, is changing the way that land is owned, controlled, and used, to the benefit of the corporates and investors, and to the exclusion of the local communities. And it shows that how the growing role of financial markets is treating land as an asset, and how this is changing the way that land is controlled and used. And all of this collectively is worsening the already existing levels of land inequality. The other interesting thing that this research is pointing to is that it highlights the centrality of land inequality for everyone, and it brings the central, and it being so central to the global challenges. So we have land inequality affecting other forms of inequality, like economic inequalities, your income inequalities, then spatial inequalities, political inequalities, social inequalities, environmental inequalities, and all that. So it highlights and brings about how land inequality is contributing to and is central to all these other inequalities, and also stresses the need to act on it urgently. And it also has some interesting solutions that we can draw from.
Fantastic. So clearly this got a lot of media. This struck a chord, I think, reporting on the numbers and the growing amount of land inequality. And you talked about the financial sector. What's next for Oxfam and your land research? I mean, clearly this was important and got a lot of attention. What's next on your research agenda we should be looking for?
Yeah, I think it's for Oxfam, it's a very important initiative, and for us, and I think it has resonated widely as well with others, because it has showed that land inequality affects everyone. And for Oxfam, it is very important because, and also very relevant to us, because our work is very much premised on the within an inequality frame. We fight inequality to end poverty and injustice. So our understanding of how different expressions of inequality influence each other is very important and is key to our ability to find solutions. So understanding how central land inequality is to broader inequalities is also very important. So, and we are currently working with ILC to build a campaign on land inequality. So far, we've initiated a number of initiatives to raise awareness about land inequality, and we are looking at ways to scale this up, engaging more with country teams, regions, and campaign teams, pushing this agenda in the next year, and also keeping land inequality high on the agenda of global fora. And I think it is important that we address land inequality from different aspects, like gender, climate change, private investments, and so on. And we are like really very keen to take this initiative, this partnership forward with the ILC.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for the past, and looking forward to the forward. This is important, as we see from Anu here. It's an important advocacy tool. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate your contributions and look forward to things to come. So Zuli and Mike, I'm about to hand over to you. We're already there at the end of the formal part as we go into the members half hour. But before I turn it over to you for your final reflections, I want to ask everyone, the 206 people who are online, to pop their one word, either feeling or takeaway about this last 90 minutes together. We've gone all around the world, heard so many success stories, and a good setup for the strategy that's coming ahead of what's next. So if everyone could start just a whole wall of either how you're feeling or your insight. Over to you, Mike and Zuli, to comment and to wrap us up, and then I'll come at the very end.
Gracias, Lisa. Muy lindo tener las reflexiones finales de todos en el chat, las palabras finales. Yo termino esta secuencia realmente diciendo que me conmueve muchísimo haber pasado revista por todas estas historias de éxito y de lucha de nuestros miembros. Verdaderamente celebro el valor, especialmente de quienes están en primera línea a pesar de todos los riesgos, ¿no? A mí me alegra muchísimo confirmar una vez más que somos una organización que asume los desafíos que implica trabajar por los derechos a la tierra, que propone, pero que también denuncia y ofrece resistencia cuando es necesario, y además lo hace con un profundo compromiso.
Thanks so much, Zuli. I'm just reading the comments in the chat. Inspiring, amazing, grateful, partnership building, motivational. I feel the same myself. I think we've been together on a journey where we've celebrated the perseverance, the bravery, the innovations, and the success of ILC members across the world. I'm particularly pleased that we've been joined today by new members of ILC who tomorrow will be formally accepted into the membership. We look forward to seeing you and meeting you tomorrow. I and the rest of One Team, Zuli as well, are really honored to work for you in the support of your amazing, amazing work. So I'm going to give you a fist bump and I'm going to say goodbye and thank you so much for joining us.
Fantastic, thank you. I got a little teary-eyed just reading everyone's words. What an honor to be part of this. But we're not over. Day 2, there will be a closed meeting for members, as Mike talked about, on governance, the importance of governance, such an important part of working together. And then on day 3, November 18th, I'll be back so lucky to be back with all of you to talk about the new strategy for up to 2030. So we're going to stay on. Members are welcome to stay on for the next half an hour, but if you're going to leave, that's great too. But let's all go to gallery view one last time, and we're going to wave to be real people. We'll take down this slide so we can see all these marcas and Vidya and Doug. We have real people from around the world, and Elisa, real people, Palab and David and Dunya and Emma and Jeremy and Kate, all around the world. Thank you so much for your last 90 minutes, but for your life's work. It's beautiful, and look forward to seeing you all on the 18th of you tomorrow. So thanks everyone. Now, members, if you want to stay on for more exchange, I'll invite Patricia to kick that off for us. So thanks everyone. Goodbye to those who are leaving. Ciao.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good night.
Ciao, ciao. Hear that, Papa? Bye, Nicholas. Bye. Bye, Solomon.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Raquel. I love the waves goodbye. Great. So I'm going to ask Patricia if everyone can go on
here.
There you go,
Lisa.
Patricia, where are the drinks? Where is the wine?
Yeah, the wine is waiting for us. The wine is waiting for us in my fridge. So come
Hello,
on.
Mike.
How are you?
Hello, Mike. Thank you. Thank you. Everything's are well done. Thank you.
Yeah, you can say hi to people.
Patricia, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Lisa, thanks.
Thank you.
Lisa, thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Frida and others.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have half an hour.
So everyone, I love all the thank you. Maybe we can go on mute so we can hear each other one at a time, if that's helpful. And Patricia's here.
Yeah.
So innocent.
I am ready.
Space for us.
Oui, oui, avec Diel.
I just wanted to, I'm very happy. There's Innocent, go ahead.
Hello.
Je t'ai pas vu dans la liste, Audace.
So just remind me when we are ready for the comments from.
I think people are having their virtual cocktail or tea together right now. They were dancing or doing what you normally do in those spaces. So does anyone else want to come on and say hello, and then we'll facilitated conversation if you want. More talking.
Muchas gracias.
We're embracing the chaos. There we go.
Qué lindo ver a distintos colegas de todas partes del mundo. Abrazos para todos y todas.
Abrazotes.
Yeah.
Great. So to bring just a little order to this so we can hear each other, if you have a question, could you go ahead and put up your hand in the chat? And there's a function there, so I can call on you, and then Patricia and I can hear you all one at a time. We don't want to miss hearing anyone's beautiful voices. Anyone want to put their hand up, or you can raise it like this too, and then I can call on you just to have a bit of.
Yeah. And just reminding that that's a space for you as members to say anything about what you heard about the report. So that's for members a discussion. If you have any issue that you need to clarify, any questions to be asked about the triennial report, please.
Yes.
It's an open space for members. So we are here waiting for you. If there is no question, then we can just take a wine and
we are waiting for the wine. Oh. This is
it's up to
Patrick.
Mike. Mike
Yeah.
is just, you know, bringing the bottles for us.
Ah.
We're having an alcohol-free assembly. When we meet in
Oh
Jordan,
my
we will have
God.
some wine.
So it's the second challenge.
Michaela.
Alcohol.
That information should have come
Balkisu.
before the assembly.
This is Peter.
Yeah.
Great.
So I understand that there is no questions. People are very happy with everything that they heard, that they saw, and there is no further questions from members. If so, we can just say goodbye and see you tomorrow. We have a business day tomorrow. Is that right? No hands up. Okay, so as I said, it was a challenge to have this assembly online, a virtual assembly, and yeah, but we did. It was fantastic. We did. We like challenge, and we are ready to take challenge. Okay.
Fantastic, everyone. Adios, goodbye, arrivederci, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, in every language we have.
Até mais tarde, até logo, tchau.
Yeah, fantastic.
Gracias.
Ciao, ciao Frida. Ciao, Julie. Ciao.
Say eso.
Amadou.
Muchas gracias.
Oh, bye-bye.
Muchas gracias, Clarita.
Assalamu
Chao, todas gracias, compañeros.
À demain. À demain.
Aduma.
Aduma. Business
Hasta
tomorrow.
mañana.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana.
Demain.
Chao, hasta mañana.